We're not taking an action at this time. You're going to speak with the... Okay, we're going to skip to item number 4, 35 Willow Street, an application for a certificate of appropriateness, Borough of Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Heights Historic District, a Greek Revival style row house built in 1846. Application is to construct a rooftop addition.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hillary Padgett, Preservation Department staff. This property is located on Willow Place between State Street and Jorleman Street. The applicant is proposing to construct a new penthouse addition, railings, and install HVAC units and extend existing chimney flues, all of which will be visible over the rear facade through a gap in the street wall from State Street. You can see the gap here at State, and their penthouse addition, and there are limited views with that addition. The design team is here to present the application.
Thank you, Hillary.
Good morning. Thank you very much for speeding it up this morning. My name is Jeremy Sherry. I'm with Mark Steff, and Kit Milton is here as well. We are the design team. I'd like to just shuffle the boards around so we can get orientated. So I'll start simply with the floor plan of the existing roof plan. And then this is the penthouse that we're proposing, which is obviously less than a third of the roof building footprint. And in section, you can see this is the existing stair, and we're continuing the existing stair up through to the penthouse. The proposed roof of the penthouse will have the skylight for the stair, so we'll bring natural light through to the original stair. And then we have 3 AC units on the roof as well. The
AC units won't be visible, they'll be hidden behind the railing as much as possible.
This is the existing rear facade. We've been working with the owner. He is very, very fond of the rear yard, and he opened up the windows in the lower portion of the building. We're proposing to continue that theme in the penthouse. The penthouse is a rusticated stucco. We're using an inch profile reveal up the side of the stucco, which sort of repeats the rustication of the base of the townhouse on Willow Place.
The lower level changes were done at the staff level. We're only proposing the penthouse today.
So there is no visibility from Willow Place. This is the sight line. We've been very cognizant of pushing everything as far back as we can from the Willow Place facade. This is a theoretical elevation of Willow Place, showing the penthouse. Of course, if you're that tall and you could see over the parapet, then that's what it would look like. But basically the view from Willow Place is completely unchanged. These are the side elevations, and on both sides we've continued the existing chimneys 3 feet above the proposed penthouse per code. And the extension is going to be in a painted aluminum. We're trying to avoid getting stainless steel in this job, because obviously the reflection and glare is not good for the neighbors. This is the facade that faces Willow Place, which faces the new roof deck. And this is the context. This is the view of the buildings opposite the back of Willow Place. As you see, there are an assortment of penthouses, roof decks, and bulkheads. And then this is a donut analysis, which similarly shows the irregularity of the block. We have a neighbor here that towers above the rest of the terrace. And then there are various rear yard additions and rooftop additions in the block.
The neighbor's important because, as you can see, the addition really doesn't stand out on the... Because of this huge backdrop here, the addition really doesn't stand out.
And that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions? All right. I think some of the approach to this penthouse is very similar to others that we have supported in the past. On some primary facade, they've managed to set it back all the ways along Willow, so it cannot be viewed. At the rear, it's a limited view that they have. They have set the penthouse back by 3 feet, so it maintains the historic row house line. And I think the advantage that this has is just adjacent to it, there's a larger building, so within that row, this penthouse, even in that portion where it's visible, is actually set against the larger building at the back. All right, are there other questions? I know there are speakers on this item. Any speakers?
I just want to
Yes,
have one
Roberta.
question. But from State Street, you see the penthouse.
You do
That
see
is it, right?
You see the penthouse from State Street, and it's set against the building that is adjacent to it, right? Any concerns?
I would say two things. First of all, we generally haven't been, in my recollection, been approving stucco where it's visible on, trying to do it as metal or brick or something a little more substantial. No, stucco. No, painted metal for the flue, but isn't the building material stucco?
The penthouse is proposed stuff.
Right. So that's number one. Number two, I just want to note, and I understand the context, but it seems like that entire row, with the exception of that one central building, is only 3+ basement. And this would be the only one with the roof accretion on this side that would put it as more, I think.
And what is that top part? So what are we seeing from the back? Because he's right, there is a line that
Right, there
seems
is.
to line up with the other buildings, and then there's something above that. Is that the fencing and the...
Okay, so we
Mechanical?
did a mock-up,
Yeah, that.
and then we included the line of the railing above the line of the mock-up. The mock-up shows the line of the parapet.
All right, in terms of the material, is the commission, would they prefer to see another material being used? Okay, so maybe they can work with staff on a material that we have used more consistently in rooftop addition.
And I think that if possible, they could use something that would, that could make it look similar to what's next door, the lower building, at least that part. You know, I don't know, because even if they were doing stucco and going to paint it white, it probably would blend in
More than just the...
with what's there beside them. So that's an idea.
Right, but do you have any concerns if they change the material to a more metal face it's, in fact, that may...
Could be brick, too.
Yeah, it could be brick, could be white brick. I don't know.
Right,
or
but you're
paint.
talking about the color, right?
I'm talking about color. I'm just saying that in terms of this view that you see from State Street, it would be
Right.
less obvious if
Right, to put it more in the
that
color
part-
of what-
That part that lines up is the same color. That would be
The backdrop, though, is the larger building.
The red
which is
brick
brick.
building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the intent was to sort of make it vanish into that backdrop rather than blend it into the foreground. So
Okay.
I think if it was white, it would clearly
So
stand
maybe
out more.
do
It's not at the
another
same-
rendering with, a couple alternate materials and see whichever, work with the staff, whichever they...
Then work with the staff.
Okay, so why don't we ask them to work with
Yes.
staff on that? Okay?
So we would approve it and with great
With
recommendations.
recommendations, right. Okay, are there any speakers? All right, then we can close the hearing. Michael, do you want to read the...
Regarding 35 Willow Place in the Brooklyn Heights Historic District, the application is to construct a rooftop addition. I recommend approval with modifications, finding that the construction of the proposed rooftop addition will not result in the loss or damage of any significant architectural features of the building, that the addition will not be visible over the primary facade, that although the top floor of the rear of the building is visible from State Street due to a gap between the buildings, that the proposed rooftop addition will be seen above it from a limited vantage point and in the context of a varied roof line and a large building in the background. The design of the rooftop addition, featuring painted metal-clad window assemblies, black painted metal guardrails, and walls of a material to be designated with staff, will relate to a variety of windows, materials, and finishes found on rear facades and additions within the block. That the proposed chimney fluid extensions, HVAC units, and railings will be located to eliminate visibility over the front facade and will not be minimally visible in connection with the rear facade and proposed rooftop addition, and will not call into attention unto themselves, and that the work will not diminish the special architectural and historic character of the building or the Brooklyn Heights Historic District. The applicant will work with staff to arrive at an alternate facade material.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, this application's been approved.